Response plans for the Northern Gateway pipeline came under the microscope at the 8th day of the Joint Review Panel hearings in Prince George. The province questioned a panel of Enbridge experts for almost the entire day. While Enbridge provided some detailed answers, the province is concerned about the lack of concrete plans.
Maps and words painted a picture of a hypothetical oil spill in the Chlora River. It's one of many what-ifs brought up by the province. It wants to know how Enbridge would respond to emergencies along the entire route of the pipeline.
We do know that this is particularly challenging terrain in an area that's not as accessible as some. Certainly we know that in Michigan at the spill there, that was far more accessible than areas of northern British Columbia.
More remote in many cases, and we do go through two sets of mountains, the Rocky Mountains and the Coastal Mountains. That's different than some pipelines, but it's very consistent. Pipelines cross the Rockies, they cross the mountains all across North America.
Enbridge says planning for a spill depends on a number of factors.
Site specific, so we'll look at the specific rivers, their flow rates, the conditions of the river, what's downstream. So in every case when you go through crossing rivers, in terms of spill response, you look at the site specific.
But Enbridge wouldn't give more than preliminary plans for spill response, frustrating provincial lawyers.
Closer to construction, but I think British Columbians would expect that at the approval stage, there would be an adequate level of detail to answer some of the questions that we've been asking around response times, access points, the equipment caches, and the leak detection system.
Ultimately, we will need to give them that confidence, very specifically, site-specific, and have very detailed plans. But the process for one of doing that is one where at first you determine, is the project in the national interest and would be there significant environmental impacts.
The company assured the province the plans will be in place at least 6 months before operations begin.
You need to practice those plans. You need to take them out and work with people so that day one of operations, you're fully conversant in terms of if there's a spill. Not that you'd expect one, but clearly you need to be ready.
As for the world-class standards demanded by Premier Christy Clark, the company says it's up to the challenge.
We're very aligned with the province in the need for world-class spill response. And I think if we look back at what Enbridge is doing today in response to making sure there's response across its entire system, you'll see that. And you definitely see that in terms of what we're prepared to do for this pipeline.
The answers to our questions so far would not give us comfort that this company has provided a commitment to that level of response and prevention.
Hearings wrap up on Friday and resume October 29th in the city. Aileen Machel, CKPG News.